Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. The Washington Commanders beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-24 in overtime. They clinch a playoff berth. They win 11 games for the first time since 1991 when they won when the Redskins won their last Super Bowl. What a huge win for the Washington Commanders. Was it pretty? No, but the Washington Commanders in their first year under Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, Jayden Daniels, they're in the playoffs before week 18. What a feeling. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders got the JD5 jersey on right now. I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know where the camera's positioned. I don't care. 30-24. The Commanders found ways to lose this game. They really did, because the beginning was awful. But at halftime, I tweeted out. You can go ahead and check out my Twitter. I said I still believe. I think the Commanders are going to win this game. I didn't say that. I just said I believe. And I still thought the Commanders had a shot to win this game, and I thought they were going to win the game. And at one point in the fourth quarter, there looked like it was a pretty good chance that they were going to win. And they kind of choke at the end. The defense allows a big touchdown drive, and even after the Bijan debacle, like whatever Wildcat snap that was, and then also the offense couldn't score. Terry, it wasn't a great throw, but Terry also, you would like him to catch. I think that's the one I'm talking about. There was a few of those where it's like kind of like a gray area, like maybe Terry should have caught it, maybe it should have been a better throw. Kind of on both, you expect to be a little bit better. And then Zacchaeus, he had a great game, but you gotta catch that, man. End of the game, in regulation, the ball's right there. Like, it's a little high near your helmet, but like, that's a perfect throw. That's a perfect throw by Jayden Daniels, and Zacchaeus has to come down with that. If he makes that catch, it doesn't go to overtime, I believe. And then the defense, man, Michael Davis almost lost us the game. But yeah, if he would have had that penalty a few yards earlier, it might have been a different story. The 56-yard field goal, 57, whatever it was, he missed it by a few yards, but it looked like it was right down the middle. But you could tell it was a little bit short, but still very, very nerve-wracking. But yeah, then overtime came. Jayden Daniels, time and time again, when the game was on the line, fourth down, third down, whatever it was, he gets you yards on the ground. An elite rushing quarterback. He broke the NFL rookie record for rushing yards, which was by RG3, and that was early. I believe that was in the third quarter, and he had like 50 more rushing yards after that, so he's well past that mark. He's going to hit 900 plus rushing yards. If everything goes well, doesn't get hurt, knock on wood, he's all good for the rest of the year. I don't think they're going to rest anyone because they got to get that 6th seed because then they can play the Rams. But this was a great game for the Commanders. They got the win. That is what matters. Mostly healthy win. So that is good. Make sure you guys subscribe to trying to hit 14,500 by the end of the year. It's going to be tough, but I know y'all can do it. A little bit of a late Christmas present from y'all to me. But yeah, Jayden Daniels, 24 of 36 on the day, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. The 1 interception was bad, but it was he just didn't see the guy. He didn't see the linebacker, whatever it was, 55, I think that's who it was. Besides that, had a really good game. Had the Zacchaeus touchdown, had a Zach Ertz touchdown, had another Zach Ertz touchdown. So he had a really good game today. Rushing was his best game of his career. Didn't have any touchdowns, but 16 rushes for 127 yards, 8 yards a carry. Robinson had 13 for 60. It did not feel like that at all. Maybe I'm tripping, but I just felt like every time I saw number 8 line up in the backfield, I thought it was going to be a 1 or 2 yard gain. I thought Chris Rodriguez had a better game. That's just me. 5 catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. 5 carries, 16 yards, and a touchdown. But he did have a big catch. It was either in the fourth quarter or overtime. I think it was in overtime. 1 catch, 12 yards. He had a very good game for the Commanders in his limited, snaps, getting a touchdown, also getting a big 12-yard catch at the end of the game. That's a big play. John Bates also had a nice catch. Shout out to him. Crowder had some big plays, 3 catches, 25 yards. There was one play where Jayden kind of fitted in right in between a few guys. I thought Crowder could have caught it, but it is what it is. Ertz had a good game, a 37-yard catch, his longest catch in like 3 years, and had 2 touchdowns. Had the one early on in the game where at first I thought he flat out dropped it. Then it was like, all right, it was a little bit high, but also at the same time, if he put it any lower, Jayden did, it might have gotten tipped or intercepted. So the throw is good. He maybe could have came down with it, but then they ended up getting a touchdown anyways with Zacchaeus right after that, who had a good game, 8 catches, 85 yards on 9 targets. Just that one target that we wish he would have made that catch. Terry was getting locked down. I'm not gonna lie. Did not have his best game. 1 catch, 5 yards. There was like 1 or 2 where you could have maybe called a PI, and there was a couple where if Jayden hits him, maybe he gets the catch. There was a couple where Terry's got to come down with the catch. So a little bit of a mix of everything there with Terry. Just wasn't his best game. McNichols 2 catches, 5 yards. Zacchaeus, big game for him. He was really, him and Ertz carried this offense, and Jayden Daniels, of course, 127 rushing yards. I mean, that is just absolutely insane on 16 carries, 8 yards a carry. This game by Jayden Daniels might have been his best of his career if you combine the rushing and the passing. Like, he's definitely had a better passing game than this one, but his passing game was like, I would probably give it an A minus, and his rushing was an A plus. So combine that, he had an amazing game. And I would say I would like for Cliff to maybe call a few less runs up the middle where he's getting tangled up with all those linemen. I like the ones where he's running to the outside, where he has that sideline and there's a little bit more of an open space for him. That 25-yard rush he had right here, that was on to the outside, that left side there. He had a very good game rushing the football, got that rookie record, and just a great game by Jayden Daniels today. And Commanders 11 wins. Let's talk about the defense a little bit. Quan Martin had an interception. Shout out to him. I thought he had a solid game, allowed some stuff, but it is what it is. Michael Davis was awful, but whatever. He was stepping in for Lattimore. There was a couple times where I was like, man, maybe you should put out Benjamin St-Juste, and that's how bad Michael Davis was playing. He didn't allow any big plays besides he had a PI in the end zone and then had the PI at the end of the game. Jeremy Chin had some nice pass breakups. He also allowed like a couple plays, but I thought for the most part he had a good game. Dorrance Armstrong had a nice sack. Mike Sainer still did not have his best game. Missed a tackler, 2 lined up offsides on the field goal, which cost them 4 points. That you just cannot do that. I am sorry. Let's see. Dante Fowler had a sack, also had a bunch of other plays too. I thought Dante Fowler had a really good game. Jeremy Reeves, whatever. Daron Payne and John Allen, I'm sorry, man. They're paying him $20+ million. I want to be positive, but you're paying these guys $20+ million a year right now, and these guys aren't doing anything. And I know John Allen's coming off the injury, so he didn't play a ton, but come on. Like, the first half, Bijan Robinson was just absolutely demolishing the Commanders' D-line. It was not fair. He didn't have any long rushes. The long was 13 on the day, but every single rush, 6, 7, 8 yards, no matter what the Commanders did. And they made adjustments, which was good. I don't know why you can't make those adjustments early. You have a 10-minute, 15-minute halftime. It's not like you can, switch everything up. Sometimes you have that much time in between when you're off, you allow the touchdown and your offense gets off the field. So, I don't know. I think they got to make adjustments earlier, but hey, they ended up making the adjustments, and Atlanta only scored 7 points in the second half and overtime. I guess we'll give them credit for that, even though they didn't. The defense didn't have to play in overtime. Drake London had a good game. Kyle Pitts had that touchdown. It is what it is, though. The Commanders get the win. They are 11-5, 7-2 at home. I'm very happy the Commanders clinched at home in front of the fans, in front of the home fans, and we don't have to worry next week. The worst case scenario next week is, realistic worst case scenario is the Washington Commanders lose and they get that 7th seed. So, the Commanders are in a good spot right now. Injury-wise, I think, so Wiley wasn't playing. Cornelius Lucas got hurt, but Trent Scott went in, and I didn't see really a difference. The offensive line wasn't doing so good in the beginning of the game, and, that was when Lucas was in. I'm not saying it's on Lucas, but I thought, the offensive line played better in the second half. What else? I'm trying to think. Cosme did not have a great game. 2 holding penalties. The first one was the second one was probably a holding, which wiped off a touchdown, and I don't think it affected the play. It's a holding. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not saying the refs made a bad call there, but it didn't affect the play. He didn't have to do that. And, all right, you do it once. It is what it is. But you got to learn from that, man. And 2 in the same game plus a false start. We're paying him, whatever we're paying him, a lot of money, 15 plus mil a year, to be a really good guard, and he wasn't that today. Tyler Biotish got hurt. Michael Dieter came in there, played really well. Shout out Michael Dieter. At least from what, you didn't really hear his name much. Brandon Coleman had a penalty or 2. Nick Allegretti didn't really hear his name. Trent Scott didn't hear his name, so that is good. The offensive line was up and down, had some injuries, but at the end of the day, they battled it out and had a good game overall, I think, especially in the second half. I know 5 sacks doesn't seem like a good game. Maybe they didn't have a good game, but they battled. They battled for sure, and overcame some injuries there at the end, and ended up having at least like an okay game there in the second half to the third quarter. Second half and overtime. So that was good. Jayden Daniels, 127 rushing yards. I'm so happy he's our quarterback. There's nothing else to say. Very happy. Number 5 is the quarterback in DC for years to come. What I will say, that first possession they had on offense, when and I don't even want to talk about it that much, but that did not look good. I was very, very scared when that happened, and he popped right back up. He's flexible, he's young, so that's good. Can't have that happen again. And they, especially on a night where they're talking about RG3's rookie record, all that stuff, and they kept showing the replay over and over and over again. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Just keep going with the game. But yeah, thank God he didn't get hurt there. Seriously, might be banged up, but hey, he's good to go. Hopefully the Commanders next week get the job done against Cowboys, get the win, get to 12 wins. And yeah, first time 11 wins since 1991, and they did it in 17 games. So they did it in 17 games. They already surpassed the 2012 season, and hey, it's just getting started. Let's play this week. The Rams, right now we're matched up to play with them. The Packers lost their game against the Vikings. So if the Commanders win next week, they're in, and they play the Rams. Most likely that's what happens. If they lose and the Packers lose, same thing. If they lose and the Packers win, then we likely play the Eagles. Maybe it could get switched, but I think it is the Eagles at 2. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.